The OKC Thunder currently have one of the deepest rosters in the entire NBA, and this is particularly true for their guard-wing rotation, which obviously includes MVP contender Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and all-star Jalen Williams, and which also features elite defenders Lu Dort and Alex Caruso, as well as three-point sniper Isaiah Joe. But one player who the NBA media mostly forgets to mention when talking about OKC's stacked rotation is fourth-year wing Aaron Wiggins, who Thunder fans know as the man who saved basketball. On January 3rd of this year, the Thunder took on a New York Knicks team who was on a 9-game win streak. As expected, both team stars SGA and Jalen Brunson took off, but it was Aaron Wiggins who unexpectedly stole the show, as in the fourth quarter alone, he put up 15 points on a perfect 5 of 5 shooting from the field to help secure a 10-point win for OKC. That was the first shining moment of Wiggins' season, which put him on the radar of the average NBA fan. But just about a month later, on the first night of February, under the shadow of the Luka Doncic trade, in an OKC win over Sacramento, Wiggins once again put up an eye-popping performance, and this time, he totally demanded the attention of the NBA, as he recorded a career-high 41 points and 14 rebounds. Well, Wiggins has long been a Thunder fan favorite ever since he was drafted by the franchise in 2021, as he's repeatedly displayed stretches of solid basketball in the past even as a role player. But his brilliance has just been most evident as of late, as in 12 games in the month of February, Wiggins has averaged 19.2 points, 5 rebounds, and almost 2 assists on a highly efficient 54% shooting from the field and 44% shooting from deep, which numbers all comprise the best month-long stretch of Wiggins' 4-year NBA career. As a second-round pick who was drafted by OKC 55th overall, Wiggins basically arrived in the NBA looking like a stereotypical 3-and-D wing, and true enough, his three-point shot has been a major driver of this success he's found as part of the Thunder's rotation. He's been a career 39% three-point shooter for OKC, and so far this season, he's once again been highly efficient at 38.8%, and most importantly, he's been draining those shots while attempting a career-high 4 attempts per game from behind the arc. Overall, Wiggins is a real sniper at the wing position who's got a quick and clean release, and his shooting gravity allows him to be a constant catch-and-shoot target for OKC's main ball handlers, especially after they attract help defenders. And Wiggins' high-level complementary effect as a shooter is particularly evident with the fact that when Wiggins and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shared the floor this season, OKC posts a 127.2 offensive rating, which would hands down be the best in the entire league. But when Wiggins sits on the bench, even when Shai is on the floor, OKC's offensive rating drops to 120.9, which is still elite, but it puts OKC a little bit below that of the Cleveland Cavaliers' league best offense. I think what's also worth noting is how Wiggins' presence actually improves SGA's efficiency. Well, sure, even without Wiggins on the floor this season, Shai already has an elite 59.3 effective field goal percentage, but that mark further increases by 3 percentage points when Wiggins shares the floor with him. To put that into context, Wiggins' presence basically takes SGA's efficiency from being 4% above league average to almost 10% above league average, which I honestly think could be the difference between Shai getting a couple more first-place votes in a tight MVP race. But then, shooting three-pointers off the catch isn't the only way Wiggins complements OKC's main ball handlers. He's also got great cutting instincts that it's almost second nature to him, and currently this season, Wiggins has produced 1.64 points per possession out of cuts to the basket, which actually ranks in the 95th percentile of the entire NBA. Wiggins knows exactly when he should run to the rim instead of just constantly standing around the three-point line, which is an ability that's become somewhat rare in today's three-point era. Right here, Hartenstein runs a dribble handoff action at the top of the key, and on the weak side, you can see Wiggins using the ghost screen from Isaiah Joe to get closer to the ball. The Aaron Fox sticks with him, but Wiggins uses a quick jab to confuse his man and to open up his own cutting lane. Ihart throws him the perfect bounce pass as Wiggins finishes with an easy dunk. Then here, as Shai gets a step ahead of his defender, Anthony Black on the weak side is forced to rotate and to provide help. This prompts Wiggins to cut into the dunker spot to receive the drop-off pass. Jonathan Isaac is quick to recover, but Wiggins uses one shot fake to get an open shot underneath. But aside from his impressive off-ball abilities, Wiggins is also starting to expand his offensive creation with the ball in his hands this season, and I'd even go as far as saying that he might actually be developing into OKC's third best on-ball shot creator right now. Looking at it, this season, only 56% of Wiggins' total field goals have been assisted, which is a massive drop from his 72% assisted field goal rate last season. Most of Wiggins' self-creation is actually displayed when he drives to the basket. While he's not necessarily explosive with a ball in his hands, but he's got an above-average handle for a wing and he knows how to use it to drive past defenders. And that has allowed him to shoot a career-high 71% on shots within 3 feet of the basket this season. Here, watch Wiggins as he breaks down the ball screen action, using the behind-the-back dribble to create separation from his man before splitting the defense with the extension as he gets all the way to the rim for the finish. This time, as he's about to drive, Wiggins is cut by the bigger Jalen Johnson, but then he uses that quick behind-the-leg dribble to gain momentum to slip past Johnson before he takes off 1 foot to avoid getting blocked at the rim. But Wiggins has also got a solid mid-range game where he's able to display his soft touch when he gets to his spots. Modern basketball philosophy forces him to keep his volume down to just 1.2 attempts per game, but he's still converting a career-high 44% of all his mid-range attempts this season. Here, coming off the handoff from Hartenstein, Wiggins goes straight to work sizing up his defender. Livingston's able to stick with him into the paint before Wiggins hits the brakes to create separation as he pivots into a smooth turnaround jumper. Here, as he receives the pass from Cason Wallace, Wiggins immediately attacks the closeout. Watch how he throws Trotter off with a quick in and out before using that extra step and the soft touch to drain the mid-range floater. Well, if anything, last year's postseason showed us that this OKC team could definitely use every inch of shot making that they can generate outside of Shai and J-Dub, and currently, Aaron Wiggins' on-ball development just might allow him to provide that extra shot making punch that OKC needs in the playoffs. Per Cleaning the Glass advanced statistics, last season, only 33% of Wiggins' shot attempts have come after at least 2 dribbles, but this season, that has been up big time to 48%. And what you gotta love about Wiggins is that despite him currently averaging career highs in terms of shot attempts and usage rate, he's actually recording a career low in terms of turnovers, while also putting up a solid 60.9 true shooting percentage, which ranks in the 80th percentile among all wing players in the NBA. With that kind of reliability and with his ability to score both on or off the ball, I definitely believe that Aaron Wiggins could elevate into a Cam Johnson or even a Mikal Bridges type of forward for OKC in the long term. Only that he costs much cheaper, as Wiggins is owed just an average of $8.6 million for the next 4 years, which makes him one of the most valuable role players in the entire NBA for the foreseeable future. But then, another guy who's been sort of underrated as part of OKC's backcourt rotation is second-year guard Cason Wallace, despite him being already one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. This season, the 21-year-old guard is quietly putting up a defensive masterclass. League-wide, Cason currently ranks 7th in steals per game, 3rd in steal percentage, and 4th in deflections per game. But most notably, as the primary defender, Wallace is allowing opponents to shoot just 43.3% from the field, which is the 4th lowest mark forced by any guard who's defended at least 1,000 shots this season. And the crazy thing is, the 3 other guards who are forcing opponents to shoot at a lower mark than Wallace are all Thunder players as well, in Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So you can definitely see how stacked OKC's guard rotation is, and this is why Cason Wallace won't necessarily be asked to guard the opposing team's best player every night, as guys like Drew Holiday or Dyson Daniels would. But when Wallace gets his chances, he definitely shows how good he is in terms of locking down elite scorers, as this season, as the primary defender, he's limited Jalen Green to just 2 out of 11 shooting, Kyrie Irving to just 5 of 14 from the field, and Jalen Brunson to just 4 out of 11 shooting. With active hands and solid foot speed, Cason can easily make life difficult for any guard matchup is in front of him, but also, what really makes Cason so versatile is despite being just 6'3", he's able to contain bigger players thanks to his upper body strength and low center of gravity. At first, he might seem to give up size when defending a drive only for him to lure ball handlers into getting blocked in the end. Here, as Wallace guards the bigger Kevin Porter Jr., watch how low he gets on his stance and how active his hands are while maintaining balance. Porter Jr. backs him down on the drive, but when it seems like he's giving up a shot, Wallace somehow elevates to catch Porter Jr. with a clean block at the rim. Again here, you can see Wallace pestering the bigger Andrew Nembhard on the perimeter. Nembhard's size allows him to go a half step ahead on the drive, but just watch Wallace recover with a well-timed rejection. But Cason's defensive ability isn't just limited to him locking up ball handlers. He's already one of the best in the NBA in terms of navigating screens, he knows when to switch, and also, he knows where to be at the right time to be able to blow off offensive possessions. Right here, you can see Cason fight through the screen to continue hounding Jalen Brunson. Brunson makes the kick out pass to Hart, and recognizing that J-Dub's closeout now leaves Towns open underneath, Wallace smartly walls off Hart's driving lane before completely stripping the ball out of his hands. Then here, Cason starts off by guarding Buddy Hield in the perimeter. Golden State runs a decoy action to get Hield open, but Cason navigates the screen well, allowing him to follow Hield into the paint. Golden State now transitions into a Trace Jackson-Davis attack on the post, and seeing this, Cason lets Kenrich cover the baseline, and he now instead provides help on the ball handler, where he forces the turnover without even fouling. This on-court awareness and defensive instincts that Cason has also allows him to be a reliable off-ball defender. In fact, a lot of Cason's steals actually come off the ball, as from the weak side, you can just trust him to take advantage of any ball pressure that guys like Dort, Caruso, and J-Dub are applying to opposing ball handlers. And when Cason gets a steal, you can just expect him to turn on the jets on the open floor before showcasing his underrated bounce with a fast break dunk. But aside from being a highly effective and versatile defender, Wallace has also been continuously improving on the offensive end. While he's only averaging around 7 points per game this season, but that's still solid production for someone who's attempting less than 7 shots per contest. Just like Wiggins, Cason takes most of his shots from the three-point line as a release valve for OKC's main ball handlers. He started off slow, shooting just around 28% from deep for the first 20 games of the year, but has been much better as of late, shooting an efficient 36.2% from behind the arc over his last 15 games. And I love that instead of just being deployed as a stationary shooter on the corners, this season, OKC has also been using Wallace in stretches as a shooter coming off dribble handoffs, particularly with Hartenstein at the top of the key, where Cason gets to punish defenders who dare go under iHeart screens. But I think what's been most notable with his offense is Cason's evolving shot creation, especially coming off drives. Even as a rookie last season, Wallace has already displayed the ability to break down defenders off the dribble, but this year, I think the difference has been more about Cason getting to the rim a little bit easier and with less hesitation. He doesn't have the flashiest handle, but Cason still got good blow-by speed for a guard and is able to utilize some in-and-out dribbles and some extensions to sneak past his defender. Which is why, again, despite him only being 6'3", Cason's been able to convert an above-league average 69.8% of his shot attempts at the rim during his 2-year NBA career. Right here, as Shai kicks the ball out, the threat of Cason's outside shot forces Maxi Kleber to make the closeout. Watch Cason immediately attack Kleber using one quick pound dribble before contorting his body to avoid the block as he makes the tough finish at the basket. Then here, Cason attacks the elite defense of Jrue Holiday. He takes Holiday to the paint and he transitions into a semi-post-up before using a drop step to create separation as he gets the easy finish at the rim. With everything he brings on both ends of the floor and with still so much room to grow, I believe that Wallace can definitely elevate himself into a do-it-all type of guard for a championship team, just like Derek White did for Boston. Although for sure, Wallace is already impacting the game for OKC at such a high level, even though he's still in a cheap rookie contract. So it would definitely be interesting to see how OKC deals with his next contract, especially considering his contract expiration in 2027 will coincide with the first year that SGA's expected Supermax will be kicking in for the Thunder. For now though, based on what they bring to the table, it's just crazy to think that either one of Aaron Wiggins or Cason Wallace could be the most important X factor for OKC in a potential NBA Finals run this season. So thank you guys if you've actually made it this far into the video. Don't forget to hit that like button if you've enjoyed this one, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. Again, this has been Rero Balls, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.